Apply heading 230, runway 27 left. Clear for takeoff.
Flight 807, you're clear for landing, runway 7 Bravo.
What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the Hobbyist Miner channel. Well, we are here in Arkansas. Oh man, it's been a blast hanging out down here with the crew from Musk Miners as well as Immersion BTC, their affiliate group. And today we're going to sit down with Ben and look a little bit deeper into immersion. I'm so interested in immersion cooling and exactly how it works. I mean, everything from the cooling to the heating tanks to, the oil and the water. It's just like, all that stuff is like alien to me as a home crypto miner. So we're going to talk with Ben for a little while and learn a little bit more about immersion and why some of these larger mining farms are starting to move in that direction. All right, guys, so I am here with Ben, who's a farm operator at an immersion cooling facility here in Arkansas at Immersion BTC. And I'm going to be honest, not really too sure how immersion works. So Ben, you ready to help me out today?
Yeah, we'll walk through it.
All right, let's take a look. All right, so what do we got here, Ben?
All right, so this individual tanks,
Yep.
We'll go through the tank and show you how immersion setup works.
Awesome.
So basically here we have water comes in down there. It's boosted up through our frame here into the cool side of our plate heat exchangers.
Okay.
So at the same time we have the hot oil being sucked off the plate heat, off of the oil here through the plate heat exchanger, rotated around through each side there. By cold water cools the hot oil, recirculates that cold dielectric fluid back through the bottom, and through the chimney effect pushes it up through the miner and cools it.
Because this is another tank then, right here.
This is another tank.
Yeah, it's crazy, guys. You can put your hand here and it's like ice cold because this is some of the water supply. And then here it's not too bad. And as you go up, it gets hot to the touch. Like you really can't touch it at the top.
Yeah.
So this is another tank. All of these are tanks to go all the way down. How many you guys have? 200 and
252 units. It's 14 tanks
Yep.
of miners.
So at a high level, we have our ASICs in here, just like our miners would have at home. But the real big difference here is that as these run and create heat, they're not blowing it out. It's actually, and I guess the exhaust side is up top, the intake side's on the bottom. So
Correct.
it goes through the hash boards, and then your hot oil, where your hot air would have been, is at the top. And then, make sure I understand it correctly, the hot oil then comes in over to these units, and you guys are using water, which is what we're talking about.
Yeah,
I mean, this is cold.
This is a dual loop system.
Okay.
So we have a single loop systems and dual loop. You might be familiar with single loop where the oil comes over, it overflows into another reservoir, sucked out, cooled through an ambient air dryer, and pumped back in. So at large scale, some of your higher expense items is the oil. So if I have to fill up 300 foot of 10-inch pipe with oil, that's pretty expensive.
Versus here, it's just the tank.
Just the tank, yeah. It's about 110 gallons per tank.
Okay.
So by using the water to for the expenditure of the heat through the plate heat exchangers to our cooling tower outside, we've cut our costs down significantly just on the purchase of oil. So if you were to do it at home on a small scale, it makes better sense to do it just through oil because you don't have to go through all your water.
Yeah, well, this is very self-contained. I know there's some home units where like you can, and they're still robust, where you're plugging directly into your water line to do your supply of your water, which would make a lot of sense here. So when you have a unit immersed like this, does that oil hurt anything on those units at all, in any way?
So it does harden the network cables.
Okay.
So I've had to change those out. That has been one thing. First of all, it's kind of messy, right?
Yeah.
The oil is messy. But as far as the unit itself, I have not had to change out anything. I've changed out some ribbons, and I'm trying to decide if that was an oil issue or a batch issue.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it was probably just a bad batch issue of ribbons, maybe.
So that was the ribbon between the control board and the hash
To the
board.
control board and the hash
Got
board.
it,
I did
okay.
have about 10 of them that were bad.
Okay. So it could have been a bad batch.
It could have been just a bad batch, and I don't know. So that's the only thing I can say that I have run into. But as far as the cables, the control boards, all that, no problems so far on the
That's
oil.
awesome. I mean, it's such a cool concept to just have a bath, pretty much, of ASICs sitting in oil, and the oil seems to do such a better job of dissipating that than you would with traditional airflow, which is great. So we talked a lot about how this is set up here, but I think the coolest thing to show off here is also the water. So the water that we see coming in here, guys, like this pipe is cold. And I guess the question is, and that goes, all of these go down to the end here. Do you want to go to the end? We'll show off at the very end here.
We'll walk down here.
Now this is a pump, correct?
Yeah, so this frame is also our waterways.
So through here, this is, guys, this is like cold.
Yep. So our water pumps through here on our cold side.
Yep.
Through our plate heat exchangers here.
Yep.
Back out on this rear side, through the square tubing over there, pumps back out to our cooling tower.
Got it.
And
So this pump is kind of in between the tanks and the cooling tower.
Yeah, so right now, like, we have to have a bypass open. That way we have enough flow to get to the top of our head pressure, which is about 15, 20 feet out there. So, but as we add 2 more containers, this booster pump and the other 2 booster pumps will create enough pressure to push it back over, and we'll close our bypass then.
Got it.
So this is just kind of helping it along through the plate heat exchangers and everything.
That's fantastic. Let's go out to the water tower and talk a little bit about exactly how that works. So what do we got here?
All right, so this is our VFD for our skid pump out there. We have a 2,000 gallon a minute pump that is pumping the water through our containers here. So this is the variable frequency drive that we set a pressure, and this unit takes that pressure, and instead of saying we're using 100 horsepower, because that's what that pump is, we're using about 40 horsepower
so you're downscaling. So this, in layman's term, downscales that pressure.
Well, downscales the power. That we need.
Got it.
So I set my pressure.
Yep.
And this low. So if I set it wide open, just on the starter, it would give me all 100 horsepower of that pump all the time.
Got it. Wow.
Well, I don't need it, right?
Yeah.
So again, expenditure of energy.
Why run more than you need?
More than you need. So this helps us regulate the pressure by how much power it's drawing. So right now we're using about 40% of that capacity.
All right, great, awesome.
And then so we can come down here, and we have our control boards here.
Okay.
So this is our water temperature at the top of our tower here, so 64 Fahrenheit.
Got it.
We're about 78, 79 degrees outside right now.
Okay.
And then our pressure's coming off of our container back in. So this modulates the VFDs for our fans out there.
Okay.
So based on
helping to cool the water.
It cools the water off.
Yep.
So same concept with the on the pump, but just with the fans.
Awesome. Crazy.
So
all right, let's take a look at this water tower, because this is so cool.
All right. So this is our 1,800 ton chiller here, water cooling tower. It holds somewhere around 25,000 gallons of water.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's constantly recirculated through our pipes. So we've color coordinated our pipes to help us go through which way we're headed, right?
Yep.
So basically at the bottom of those towers are basins filled with water, cooled, chilled water. Comes out through our pump there, that red pump. That's a 2,000 gallon minute pump, 100 horsepower, 240 volt. Pumps through the blue pipe into the container. Through that booster pump that we saw, through the frame, plate heat exchangers, all that. That's that cold water that you were filling on that side. It does its job by heating, passing that heat off through the plate heat exchanger, pumps it back out through our orange piping here to the top of that tower.
That tower's crazy.
Yeah, so there's pretty large fans up there that create negative pressure and pull that on the outside here. Pulls air through those air handlers right there.
So it's pretty much like a giant radiator.
Yep, exactly.
Is what it is.
Just
it's just taking that hot water, putting it through the radiator side, and the fan helps to then cool it as it goes through.
Correct, and you can hear it's a little loud, but it's not terrible.
Yep.
But you can feel the wind coming off of it right now.
Oh,
it's pretty stale day outside, but standing right here, just from there to there, you can feel that wind. So that's that negative pressure pushing up through across those fins there and cooling that rainfall water that's coming down. So we're evapping on 1 megawatt about 900 gallons a day.
Wow.
In a period is what we have to replace.
Yeah, and that's going into each of those individual tanks that we saw in there.
So that's just the heat exchange that on a nice cold night you'll come and you'll see 10, 15 foot of steam coming off the top of that thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's that evaporated, that's the heat that we're trying to get rid of, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we have to replace that with our makeup lines back here. So just back here we have your 𝗟PZ and makeup line, and it comes back to the tower here, and then just through and into the section here.
That is awesome.
And if you want to open up and take a look inside.
Show inside.
Probably.
So here is that giant fan that is pulling the air, and it's taking the water here, which is hot, and it's cooling it off here.
Correct, yeah.
That's how that's working.
This right now, I think we said 64 was our temperature at the top of the tower.
Yep.
So this water is ice cold. It's probably in the upper 40s right now.
Wow, that's incredible.
Maybe low 50s.
Yeah.
Basically, this is our float valve here, just like in the back of your commode at home.
Yep.
Just opens up and down, right? It's this giant float ball.
Yep.
So same thing.
Do you know the CFM on that massive fan?
I don't know. It's a 25 horsepower pump.
That's incredible. And you have 2 of those, right?
2 of them, yeah. So that one right now is running at about half speed. Both of them about half speed.
And
so
is that automated, or do you guys adjust
It's automated on the VFD based on its temperatures.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So we go ahead and this is what pretty much keeps everything cool. It keeps that oil cool.
Correct.
Is what it's doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the medium of exchange that is needed for the oils to pull that heat out, right?
Got it.
So water is the best form of exchange, right? That we know of. So instead of, again, back to the single phase or the single loop or dual loop.
Or dual loop,
Could you imagine filling this dude up full of oil?
Oh,
like
I know, it'd be a
expensive
mess.
25,000 gallons.
Oh my word, yeah.
So water, and then those 10-inch pipes.
So this is definitely, you're moving, you'd have to have higher horsepower pumps to move the oil versus the water.
Viscosity is different and everything else.
So this definitely has a more expensive upfront cost to go with immersion.
To the front of it is.
But the nice thing is you guys have such a controlled environment now. You're not spending boatloads of money to try to increase your airflow or cool. It's like, man, it's just self-driven.
And again, you don't have to have the number of technicians out here working on things, which is not necessarily the best thing in the world for the economy, but how many electricians and how many plumbers are we putting into business, and mechanical engineers and stuff like that?
And we didn't even talk about it in our other video where it's like you're not, part of your day-to-day is not cleaning rigs. You're not pulling rigs out, cleaning off hash boards, blowing things out, replacing fans. You're not doing any of that.
Not doing anything.
That's
Matter of fact,
impressive.
Easter weekend was just over the weekend, and I went out of town and I didn't have any internet service where I was at, and I didn't have to worry because I knew it was going to run just
awesome.
fine.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Ben, for explaining immersion cooling. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so it has been an absolute blast hanging out down here with the guys from Musk Miners and the Immersion BTC team. Man, I learned so much. It's crazy. Like, you know, I've been in it for 2 years or so, and then I come down here and talk with these guys, and it's like, man, I have so much more to learn, especially when it's going from like a home miner experience to some of these enterprise and business, scenarios. It's pretty incredible. It's been awesome. It's been a huge learning experience. I'm blessed to be able to do it. Maybe I could pass on a little bit of what I've learned from this experience on to you guys through the video series here. If you guys are interested, go over and check out Musk Miners. I'll put a link down below. They can get you hooked up with their affiliate site here, Immersion BTC. They have miners set and ready to go right now. There's like a security truck driving around. They have miners ready to go and ready. You can purchase them, and then they can get them up and running for you here. If you guys are interested. Musk Miners, man, whew, what a cool group of guys. Hung out with Blake and Chris, had a great experience learning from them. Once again, guys, go check them out, muskminers.com. We'll put a link directly down below. Other than that, guys, gonna wrap things up for today. Hopefully you guys learned something. Give it one of these, and I'll see you guys next time. Where are my GPU miners at? I'd like to introduce you to hobbyistminers.store. Who can turn down a high quality t-shirt with your favorite NVIDIA graphics cards in a simplistic design? The spring 2023 collection just dropped a few weeks ago with 17 brand new limited edition designs. What makes them limited edition? Well, every 3 months a brand new collection is released and their previous one is decommissioned forever. It'll never be sold again. Stop on over and check out your favorite GPU mining t-shirts at hobbyistminers.store today.